36-year history, the mission of Black Enterprise has always been to promote financial empowerment, encourage the establishment of minority-owned businesses, and highlight their accomplishments. No doubt, since its founding in 1970, that mission has been and continues to be accomplished. The face and visionary behind that brand is none other than Earl G. Graves, Sr. Taking a look back, Earl grew up in Brooklyn, New York. He went on to graduate from Morgan State University with a Bachelor of Arts in Economics. He then enlisted in the U.S. Army. After completing his enlistment as a captain in the Green Berets, he would serve as an administrative assistant to Senator Robert F. Kennedy. And here, during the turbulent yet progressive time also known as the Civil Rights era, Earl's vision and passion began to take shape. He started developing his nationwide reputation in business by forming a management consulting firm to advise corporations and major multinational companies on urban affairs and economic development. And 2 years later, alongside the work of raising 3 little boys with his wife Barbara, Earl founded Black Enterprise. Detailing the impact of Black Enterprise on the financial industry would be trying to explain the Bible's significance on religion. The magazine has a readership of nearly 4 million nationwide and a paid circulation of 500,000. By the end of this year, the magazine projects revenues will exceed $60 million. And that's before you even factor in its successful brand extensions, from online features to golf tournaments to networking ski events. In a super competitive and rapidly changing magazine publishing industry, Earl has beat the odds and made Black Enterprise a model for business success. Now, earlier this year, Earl passed the torch of Chief Executive Officer and President to his son, Earl Butch Graves, Jr., marking a milestone for the family-owned media company. But Earl Sr. remains as chairman and publisher. Now, it's certainly not a first night Earl has received a nod. He's gotten honorary degrees from over 60 colleges and universities. He received the NAACP's 1999 Spring Garden Medal, the civil rights organization's highest achievement award for African Americans. Last year, NABJ recognized Black Enterprise for marking its 35th anniversary. This year, NABJ salutes the man who has had his finger on the pulse of the world of business for the last 36 years and has never let it go. For these reasons and more, NABJ is proud to present the 2006 Lifetime Achievement Award to Earl G. Graves, Sr.
Good evening. I first want to thank Brian Gumbel. I don't mean Brian Gumbel for that introduction. Al Roker, right. We get even with each other almost every time we're on the stage. Thank you. Good evening. My sincere thanks to all of you for that warm reception. And thanks also to the leadership of the National Association of Black Journalists for bestowing upon me this award for lifetime achievement. I know that it helps to be 105 to be honored for one's life achievements, so I'm flattered that the NABJ has chosen to recognize me while I'm still young. I do need to share a short story. They gave me 3 minutes, but I figured 3.5, and it's okay. This morning I was working out in the health club in the hotel, and there was a young man working out in there, and he was lifting weights and huffing and puffing, and I was glad when he left because it was depressing to see what he was doing and I was not. And then in comes another young man, and he looks up and he goes, "Wow, Mr. Graves." I said, "How are you?" As I was on the machine doing the best that I could, running, and he said to me, "Wow, I never thought." I said, "Okay, fine." And then he said, "How old are you?" So I said, 71. He said, "Wow, why are you working out?" So I said to him, "Let me guess, you're on the hospitality committee of the organization, right?" Anyway, absolutely true story. Seriously, what this award tells me is that somewhere along the way, I was able to make a contribution. And the fact that I've been included in such distinguished company tells me that my contribution has mattered. Two of the great pioneers of African-American journalism were John B. Russwurm and Samuel E. Cornish, co-editors of Freedom's Journal, the first African-American owned and printed newspaper in the United States. In the journal's very first issue, published in 1827, Russwurm and Cornish printed these words: "We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoke for us." These words rang true just as for me when I founded Black Enterprise magazine 36 years ago. My dream was a publication that represented, empowered, and spoke the truth about America's black business and professional class. To a degree, I think we've succeeded, and if I have, then many of the people who are here tonight representing Black Enterprise are part of that, and I'd like to ask them to stand. Alfred Edmond is leading the charge. Where are the Black Enterprise people? I told you guys to get your registration in early. You'd be up closer. That's what happens, right? Okay. To a degree, I think I've succeeded because of the young people represented here, just as a whole generation of African-American publishers, reporters, and editorialists succeeded in bringing a measure of true dignity to the African-American story. And yet I fear that those words published by Russwurm and Cornish so long ago still ring true today, louder than ever. The nightmare of Katrina and its aftermath, the ongoing tragedy of the war in Iraq, the scourge of AIDS and the silent response within our community, the collapse of public education, the crisis of the African-American male. These and other issues are destroying the hopes and aspirations of a whole generation of our people. And with rare exception, I don't see the mainstream media asking why to the extent they should. I don't see elected officials being pressed hard for accountability. And I don't see enough stories that illuminate our experience in ways that are truthful, that inspire social change. That's why the efforts of the esteemed members of this association cannot go unrecognized. You shine the spotlight on the issues that we as a people are facing, both in the black media and the mainstream. Clearly, the moral imperative that drove our first African-American journalists is just as strong today as it was for today's generation. That didn't quite come out the way it was supposed to, but it's all right. My message, particularly for the young men and women here this evening, is to continue the legacy of social justice embodied by those who came before you. Use your voice, your talent, and your influence to plead our cause. Because if you don't, the question is, who will? Thanks again for this award. I pledge to continue to you to strive to be the very best.